Biologics are complex medicines. They consist of proteins specifically designed to modify the pathways that cause a range of diseases. Biologics have revolutionized the treatments of challenging illnesses such as cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, and Crohn's disease. A biosimilar is a copy of a specific biologic medicine, usually made by a different manufacturer. A biosimilar medicine only gets approved for use once it's been shown to meet strict clinical criteria that confirm it is equivalent to the original medicine. If you're switching from a biologic to a biosimilar, you may have questions. We aim to answer some of them here. And remember, your healthcare team will also be talking to you about switching. Why is it called a biosimilar? When manufacturers produce copies of simple medicines, it is relatively easy to work out what the recipe is and replicate them exactly. Most people have taken these medicines and will be familiar with swapping brands without noticing any differences. Biologics, however, are much harder to make, as they are larger, far more complex structures made by living cells. If we compare recreating a simple molecule to building a copy of a bicycle, recreating a biologic would be like building a copy of a complex fighter jet. The fact that biologics are made by living cells also means that there may be minor variations between manufacturing batches. This is the same whether it is an original biologic or a biosimilar. The amount of variation allowed is strictly controlled and does not impact on how the medicine works. Will a biosimilar work as well as my current medicine? Compared to the original biologic medicine, biosimilars have no clinically meaningful differences in terms of safety and efficacy. In other words, how well your medicine should work. A biosimilar will always have the same mechanism of action as the biologic it has copied, which means it will work in the same way. What will change for me? From your point of view, you should not experience any noticeable difference to being on your original medication. Some patients may even find an improvement, for example, a more comfortable injection device than they were using previously. Why am I switching? For the last decade, biologics have revolutionized care, but they have been very expensive due to the costs involved with decades of complex research needed to develop these new medicines. Now, many of these drugs are coming off patent, which legally allows manufacturers to recreate biologic medicines made by other companies. This means the medicines usually become more affordable. These recreations of the original are called biosimilars. The National Institute of Health and Care Excellence states that for a biosimilar to be approved, it must match the biologic in efficacy, safety, and quality. The strict approval process of biosimilars means that your healthcare team can be sure that you receive optimal treatment, whether they prescribe a biologic or a biosimilar medicine. If a saving is made, it can contribute to improving access to new, innovative medicines. If you want a more in-depth explanation of biosimilars and a role they may play in your care, why not start by watching this interview with Professor Peter Taylor? You can find it at www.nras.org.uk/biosimilars.